What's up, everybody? I just wanted to let everybody know about Calhoun Asampi Sisha. Calhoun Asampi Sisha is a native-owned business. The name is very meaningful. It's a combination of a Scottish last name and an Oglala Lakota last name. Calhoun Asampi Sisha plans on having a whole line of products from candles to bath bombs. Calhoun Asampi Sisha plans on using part of the profits to make visible change with a focus on helping students attend university. They believe that if they help them in a crucial stage, they will gain the skills to help their communities. Another goal is to help the indigenous community with accurate representation, and they plan on doing this by modernizing indigenous trading while respecting traditional beliefs. The current slogan for Calhoun Asampi Sisha, a first of its kind, a whole tribe line. They're working very hard to get their business going, and they plan on dropping candles February 28th. So go check out the Facebook page, Native Candles, that's the letter N, 8V Candles, and follow them on Instagram. So that's N8V_candles. And also check out the website, www.n8vcandles.com. So that's www.nativecandles.com, but it's n8vcandles.com. So be sure to follow them, Facebook, Instagram, and check out the website and get ready for February 28th. Thanks, everyone. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Okie Podcast. On today's episode, I have another amazing guest. He is an indigenous comedian, and he is Kasey Nicholson. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, I am doing good. How are you doing? Thank you for having me on your wicked show. Wicked meaning good.
Wicked. The good wicked.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it so much. It's always exciting to do these kind of type of things, whether it be podcasts or small interviews or even for newspapers. It's just really cool, because it don't go beyond what we're doing right now. It goes, beyond our conversation. Other people may or may not hear it, but I know, hopefully, I know my mom's gonna listen to this at least.
Mm-hmm.
He said,
we gotta keep it PG. No, just kidding.
No, she knows me.
Oh, rated R? No, I'm just kidding.
Let's go Z. Just go straight to Z.
Straight to Z, okay. First for me.
All right. Sweet.
Oh man, but yeah, thanks for coming on, making time. I really do appreciate it, and been watching some of your stuff, and hilarious. So,
Thank you.
the things I can watch, able to watch, and I don't know if you ever make it towards here, Oklahoma. Have you been able to come through here?
Yeah, I actually was just over there in November, I believe. In OKC, Oklahoma City, I believe it was at the the American Indian Hall of Fame or something like that center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dang it, I just totally forgot. I was really wearing their shirt yesterday and totally. So if any of them are listening to this, I apologize if I got the name wrong. But it's a big center. It's gonna be a big like amusement park. I think. I don't know. Am I letting the cat out of the bag? I don't know. Anyways, and then I was over there again the next weekend, right after I just got done over there, and I went to Tulsa. Nope, Ponca City.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was kind of in the area of Oklahoma, but yeah, I've been there a couple times. I also went there El Reno or the casino around that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went down there with Tatanka Means and Tanya Joe Hall, Chance Rush, Mike Bone. We all did like a little show there. Not little, it was actually a pretty well attended event that happened, and it was really good. So I've been there, I don't know, a handful of times, anyways.
Damn. I'll keep an eye out. Next time you're down here, I'll have to come catch a show.
Yeah, yeah, totally. That'd be awesome. They're talking about bringing us back to that El Reno casino part. I don't know what the casino's called, but
Is it that giant one?
yeah, it's a big
It's a
one.
giant one, right?
Yeah,
Um,
Ah,
Windstar, maybe?
I don't know. Win something or star something. I don't know. Wind in your star. I don't know. Something. I don't know.
One of
Uh,
them. We got a lot.
yeah, starry wind. I don't know, but yeah, totally. Yeah, keep a lookout and be totally cool to come back down. I really like Oklahoma. Um, it's good times. It kind of at one time they had a tornado warning, which kind of was freaky, but
Hmm.
it was way off in a distance, but they still had to sound off the alarms anyways, just in case it changed its course, I guess. And we didn't have to go bunker or anything, but still, just to hear it was like holy cow! Like it was pretty a puckering experience where your butt cheeks pucker for no reason. They're just like holy, something's going wrong when your butt cheeks pucker, so something's happening that is uncomfortable.
Yeah. 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 It's freaky, man. Once you hear that alarm go off, too, it's that siren, I mean, not alarm. Sorry, Oklahoma. But when you hear those sirens, man, it's like, oh God,
Hmm.
you can't see anything. It's pitch black. You can't see anything.
Oh
It's
my
pretty
God,
scary.
I couldn't imagine.
But yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I've been to Oklahoma. To answer your long story short, yes, I've been to Oklahoma.
yeah, I would definitely keep an eye out, man. I'd love to come through. I can't believe I missed that, but that was around the time I was like doing a bunch of stuff, so I probably wouldn't
Busy.
have got to go anyways. But I will keep an eye out and I will
Yeah.
go.
Yes. Busy man.
Busy, busy. As you too.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes in waves. My career kind of goes in waves. Like when I'll have like a month or two where it's just like one or two gigs, and then I'll have like 3 or 4 months of like 3, 4 gigs a month. So it's just like it depends. It just really depends. And then I'll have a bunch of local gigs, or I'm getting into acting, and I'm really trying to like hone in on different auditions or creating different tapes, I guess, for people to review. I'm also
Hmm.
on a writers group. We're writing a pilot for a show to be pitched to a major network. So that's what's kind of filling my time now. But I mean, it just goes in waves, is what it is.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Wow. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know about that stuff. So we'll get into it.
Oh
So
yeah.
for the
Sure.
listeners, Casey, can you tell, where you're from, what growing up was like, and then what kind of just led into this journey that you're on right now?
Oh man, are you guys ready? Geez, this is an audiobook. You are reading. I will read the foreword to this book. It happened a long time ago, back when I was a little boy in my mama's womb. I came out and there was a bright light and it shined in my eyes and I squinted really hard and they thought that I was an Asian boy. My mom looked at her mother, which is my grandmother, and said, "Did I have an Asian boy?" No, I'm just joking. Anyways, what happened was, what happened was, let me see. Honestly, I'm an only child from my mom, and
Mhm.
she raised me by herself, so a single parent. It was just me and her all over the country. Um, my dad is from Browning, Montana. He's Blackfeet. And between those two, several other different tribes, but my tribe is Aani, aka Grovant. So that's a federal name, Grovant. And Grovant is a French word meaning big belly, because the French misunderstood our sign language for what we were trying to where we were trying to tell them kind of where we were at, kind of where we were camped at. And it's kind of like a sign language kind of motioning in front of the belly. And so they called us Grovant, which is totally off because back then there's no way that we we were grove on. I mean, we were famished. We walked all over. We hardly ate really anything that was not healthy for us. And so it was weird that they'd call us grove on. But anyways, um, but yeah, A&E, and my mom's A&E, my dad's Blackfeet. I'm an only child from my mom, and we traveled all over. She worked for the IHS and BIA, so it was a government job. And she just kind of like started, I think, in Billings, Montana, and then she got some experience under her belt. Then we'd move again, so we went to Portland, Oregon, and then we went. Then she get more experience and went to Gallup. From Gallup to Aberdeen, South Dakota, back to Billings, Billings back to Portland, and then from Portland, Oregon, all the way over to Silver Spring, Maryland. And then from Silver Spring, Maryland, I moved to my home reservation in Fort Belknap, Montana, and I graduated high school there. And my mom still lives there, but I dip in and out of there throughout my adulthood, through my college career, and through just adulthood. I would just go in and out of there, trying to find stability. And so I kind of did all that. I got my bachelor's in health and human development, and then I got my master's in mental health counseling. And I've always wanted to, and this story will kind of come around, but I've always wanted to kind of go to the reservation or go to help my people. I've always had this kind of internal thing kind of going on inside me to say that or to write that or to become that. And I honestly didn't realize I was going to become what I was going to become in today's world, in this day and age right now. I knew I was going to do something in terms of helping my people, but I really, really didn't know how or what. And I don't think anybody can really tell the future. Some people have like, I'm going to help my people by being a doctor. I'm going to help my people by becoming a lawyer, or I'm going to build houses, or whatever it may be. Me, I was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to go into a profession that's going to help my people. That's pretty much all I said. And the reason I said this is I was in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I think I was 12 years old, 12, 13, no, 13 years old in 8th grade. And our English teacher asked us, and this is how old I am, I'm aging myself. So I walked into classes about a week before summer break, week before 8th grade ended. And I remember walking into a classroom, and she had this, they call it a projector. It was like a projector where it's a dry erase projector where you write this little thing on a clear sheet of paper, or clear sheet of plastic, and you write on marker, and then it projects it onto the wall. Anyways, I remember coming in and I seen that, and it said 10-year letter. And I was like, well, and we were all like, me and my boys were all like, what? 10-year letter? Okay, whatever. So we all kept, talking and stuff. And the teacher said, all right. And she started handing out actual envelopes. And we're all looking at each other like, what's going on? And then she removed the thing that she wanted us to write on a letter. So she said, all right, everybody get a piece of paper out. This is what I want you to write on your letter. She removed the piece of paper, or further down, and it said, hello, Kasey. This is what you're going to be in 10 years from now, ... kind of like that. And I was like, okay. And she's like, everybody write this down. So we wrote it down. She said, okay, what I want you guys to do is write a 10-year letter. In 10 years from now, what do you think you're going to be? What do you feel like you're going to be? Where do you see your life in 10 years? And as an 8th grader, I'm like, what? Like, I'm not even worried about it. Like, I'm trying to get that girl's number, I'm trying to go through puberty right now. I'm trying to figure out why my nose and my ears are bigger than my whole face right now. Like, I'm like not even proportioned right, Like, why would I even think about like 10 years from now? So we had the whole class period to sit there, and it was totally quiet. Some of the girls, some of the guys were all kind of into it, and I'm just like, looking around like, 10 years, like what? Like, what am I don't know, And I was like, well, so I went right to my dreams. And I went, okay, I'm going to become a professional basketball player, professional football player, professional baseball player, college athlete, all the football, baseball, basketball. Then I said, I'm going to graduate at college. And I said, well, what are you going to graduate in college from? And then that's when I said, I'm going to graduate in something that's going to help my people. And then it kept going, and it just, it just said whatever. It really did. I was just writing whatever in my mind, thought, okay, this is good enough kind of thing. And I remember writing, be respectful, kind, courteous, all these kind of attributes that I would love to have in 10 years. And as it kind of started getting further and further, I started stretching it out. I started stretching my mind further out, like, maybe, what if it could be? And so I remember putting comedian, and then I remember putting actor. And then I folded up the piece of paper. I put it in the envelope that she had us addressed to somebody who wasn't going to move in 10 years. My auntie, I figured, if she moved, she'd be responsible enough to do the change of address thing. So I said, okay, I'm gonna address it to her. And thinking about it back then, think about what I did then really kind of came to fruition when that letter came to me 10 years later. And I was in college at Montana State University, Bozeman. And I was there and I was writing, or I was on my way to class. Auntie called. She said, hey, Case. So what's up? She's like, you got a letter? I'm like, oh, really? That's weird. She's like, yeah, you got a letter from yourself. I'm like, what? That's weird. Was I that, drunk? Was I that high when I was a freshman? I wrote myself a letter. She's like, I don't know what it is. She said, but if you want, come by this weekend. I'll put it up to the side and you come pick it up. I was like, oh, cool. All right, awesome. And as I hung up on her, I started thinking, where or what or who or how did this? I wrote a letter? A 10-year letter? Because the day that I wrote that letter, I never thought about it. Because it was like a week before vacation, right? So I never thought
Mm-hmm.
about it. And I was thinking, and then it dawned on me, like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then I remembered and ended up driving over there and grabbing the letter, opened it, and sure enough, there it was. I even smelled the letter. That's why I was like, does this smell like 10 years old? Like, what does 10 years smell like? So I smelt it, I sniffed it, I licked it, I did everything to figure out where and what does 10 years taste and smell like. It doesn't taste any different than any other thing, okay? Just let everybody know that. It tastes like a freaking piece of paper is what it tasted like. And then I opened the letter up, and there it was. I wrote exactly the same as I wrote when I was in 8th grade. It was crazy. And I started reading it, and I started crossing out the things that I probably wouldn't do, like the professional athlete stuff. I didn't have the self-confidence or the belief. I might have had the ability, but I just didn't have that push or drive to do it, at that time. And I kept going down. I got my call. I'm going to college to work on tell my people on all these things. And then I went all the very bottom, and I said comedian and actor, and I was like, well, I don't know, maybe one day. Never, never thought about doing a comedy or acting while I was in college. Never. And so after that, I folded the letter back up, and I believe I gave it to my mom. I hope I gave it to my mom. And again, didn't think about it again. And I went through my life. Went through college, went through masters. Just did the everyday the life stuff. The trials and errors, the failures, everything you do. And then at 30 years old, I think it was at 30 years old. Yeah, 30 years old. I remember seeing a comedian named J.R. Redwater, and he was part of the Showtime comedians going native or something like that on Showtime. And there was like 5 comedians and Charlie Hill. He was kind of the host. And I remember, oh my God. And so he was in Rapid City. Jared Redwater was in Rapid City. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to go see him. It's going to be so cool. And he came and I watched him and I was like rolling. This is I think the first native comedian I seen in live in person at 30 years old. And I'm rolling. I am crying like, man, this guy is hitting all my funny buttons, right? And I'm just like, ah! And it's just freaking hilarious. And then I asked him, I said, hey, would you be interested in coming to our res if I could get you there? He's like, yeah, he cut me a great deal. And he even stayed at my brother, it's like he's my bro. He's not my actual brother, but he's like my
Mm-hmm.
bro. And he stayed at his house because he didn't want to travel 40 miles to a hotel and come back 40 miles. So I'll just stay with, him. And I'm like, all right, cool, that's awesome. Saves us money, right? But anyways, we got him there, and he went up there, and he the first thing he said when he went up there, and we packed. I mean, we packed that freaking little gym. I think the capacity was like 300 or something like that, 280. But we packed that gym where people are standing, and I'm pretty sure we broke fire code, right? and like there was a lot of natives there. Like we were pushing it throughout the res. We'll see you there. We put it on the radio airwaves, and we were asking people. We were just telling people, "Come on, it's a free show. Come on over." And we honestly, because natives and their shows, they don't all come. They got other things to do in life.
Hmm.
Like stay at home and eat ramen noodles, or take care of the kids, or have excuses and not to go to free shows. But believe it or not, we had like that place packed. And so I'm really excited because I'm one of the guys that really helped organize this and bring this comedian here. And I'm nervous too because I'm hoping he delivers like he delivered in Rapid City. And I'm there and I'm like, all right, Jerry, you almost ready? He's like, bro, did you get anybody to open up for me? I'm like, what? I was supposed to have somebody to open up for you? He's like, yeah, man, like, I can't just go out there and shoot from the hip. Like, can we warm up the crowd? And I'm like, uh, I know somebody who can sing, right? And he's like, what? I'm like, I know somebody who can sing. He's like, okay, whatever, just get up there and warm up the crowd. I'm like, okay. So I went to ask this girl, and she could sing country. And I was like, I think her name was Jevy. And I was like, hey, Jevy, can you, and she's pretty outgoing, I was like, do you think you could sing like just one song up there to kind of do the open part of it? And she's like really like caught off guard, like, what? I'm like, come on, please, please. She's like, yeah, okay. Do you have this song? I'm like, yeah. And I said, I don't have the instrumental. She said, that's fine. I'll just sing along to it. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so she got up there. I pushed play, and it was George Strait. I'm pretty sure it was like Amarillo by Morning or whatever that song is, right? I don't know that song. And it was a George Strait song, and it was a slow song. And I remember she's going, and she's doing her thing, and JR looks at me from across the stage, and he gives me these eyes, like he opens his eyes, like, bro, like you're killing me, and I'm like, I can't help it. I didn't know she's gonna sing this song. And she gets off, and there's like one or two courtesy claps, just like clap, clap, clap.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, you got to do something, anything, play some hype music, do anything. And I was like, ah. So I was rolling through my freaking, like, I had an iPod to play music with. And I was rolling through it, and I'm like, this one. And I think it was LMFAO, Sexy and You Know It, or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And so I pushed that one, and it went, Sexy and You Know It. And I just came out, and I started, like, dancing here and there and strutting across the stage, and then I cut the music, and everybody's laughing, and I'm like, and I made fun of these elders, and one of them were like our main spiritual elder, and they were like front row elders right in the front, and I said something that I thought I was gonna get in trouble for, but he loved the joke, he just loved it, and everybody's like, they didn't know if they wanted to laugh or not. They're like, oh, and then they seen him laugh, and then they all started laughing, right? And anyways, I only did it for like 2 or 3 minutes. And I got off stage, and JR's like, oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, Kasey's so funny. Give him a round of applause. And so after the show, JR killed it. JR totally killed. I mean, he made everybody laugh. He went on for like an hour and a half. And
Hmm.
after the show, he's like, bro, I didn't know you were that funny. He's like, did you ever think about stand up? And I'm like, and right away, I kind of did, like I thought about that letter. I'm like, yeah, I kind of did think about comedy once. He's like, cool, and then that's all he said. And about a month later, Rocky Boy, they're about an hour away from our res. Had brought some of them came to our show. They seen him perform, so they wanted to bring him to their show or their res, and so they brought him to their res, and they were there, and I was like, trying to impress my lady. I was like, hey babe, I'm gonna go back to this backstage because I know the comedians, right? So I went to the backstage, and there's people there, they're congregated, and JR looks at me, and he's like, hey, and I'm like, hey, and he's like, bro, and I'm like, bro, and he's like, hey, did you remember you said you're interested in comedy? Would you want to do like 5 minutes tonight? And in my mind, I'm like, no, I don't want to. Are you nuts? Like, there's like 300 greasy crees in this audience, and if they don't laugh, it's my head, right? I don't. And that's what my mind was saying, right? But honestly,
Hmm.
like something paused, and I slowly, in my mind, said, sure, why not? And he's like, great, awesome. They all head out. And I'm thinking, like, and I remember just sitting there panicking. Like, what did I just agree to? Like, am I nuts? What am I going to do? I've never written a joke. And this is in 2010. I've never written a joke ever. I've never did any of this. And I'm supposed to go out there and make people laugh, like on the spot, like, and I'm just like, I'm panicking. And I remember one of the hosts, his name is Chuck Mullock. He's from Billings, but he's also partly from Fort Belmont, Montana. And he's like, Keith, you got like 5 minutes. I'm like, what? 5 minutes? He's like, yeah, I'm going to go up. I'm going to do my little thing. And then I'm going to bring you up. And I'm like, oh. And I remember the other comedian, Mark Yaffe, he's like, bro, you'll be all right. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be good. Don't worry. And I'm like, I've never written a joke, Mark. Never. He's like, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I'm like, oh my God. And I hear Chuck kind of winding down. Then he's like, "All right, bringing our first comedian up. He's from Fort Bell, Montana. He's your Harvard billboard child. Kind of these things. I was on a billboard for anti-tobacco stuff, so I was on like in Harvard on a billboard for the longest time, like almost like 2 or 3 years on the billboard. Like my face was starting to unpeel. That's how long I was on the billboard, and it was not just me. It was my wife and our first kid, and we were there and I was panicking, and all right, bringing up Kasey Nicholson. So I went up, and I remember walking up to that stage, and I remember looking at my lady, my woman, my wife, and I was looking at like my friends that we were sitting by, and they're like shocked. They're like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?" And I'm just like shrugging my shoulders, and I'm like, "Hey, like." And then I remember like stalling. I remember stalling for the longest time because, like I said, I've never written a joke. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm going off my mind, my head. And then I say, us Indians are funny, then I think I go into my grandma. Then I think I go into like something where my mom's whipping me. And then that has the crowd rolling. And then I kind of stutter and I kind of like, kind of do whatever I do for the next 2 or 3 minutes. And I remember getting off the stage and people are clapping, like, yeah, and then Chuck Miller, holy cow. And then I remember Jared Redrow, man, you killed it, bro. And then I remember Mark Yaffe saying, you did good, man, you did good. I'm like, holy cow, what did I just do? And then that's not where the bug bit me though. Okay? That is not where the bug bit me. That was like, oh, okay, I can do this. Okay? I can. Remember that. I can do this. About, I would say maybe 2 months later, JR Redwater asked me to do another show in Billings, Montana, about 3 hours south of us. And it was a small show. Some people were drinking. It was lights were on fully. They had circle tables. I just kind of remember it, and it was another guy named Jim Rule, and I was opening up for them. And at this time now, I had 2 months to write, so I'm writing jokes. So they're like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready. I am so ready, knowing that I can do this. And I get up there and I totally just bomb. Like I don't even make it to my 5 minute set before I look over to the stage left and I say, "Am I done yet?" And you don't ever say that on
Mm-hmm.
stage. I was just totally panicking, shaking, couldn't make my family members laugh, couldn't make my aunties laugh, no nothing. And I remember going off that stage and feeling seriously so defeated and saying, I thought I could do this. And feeling that ultimate feeling of like defeat and failure and but something inside me said do it again. Like something inside me said you can do it, like rising to the challenge more or less. I fell flat on my face. I can't believe I failed that bad. I can't believe I just totally freaking just bombed, like hard bombed. But something inside me said no more, said you can do this, to I want to do this. I want to do this. So the can part is like, yeah, I can get in shape. I can get in shape, no problem. But do you want to? So that want came, and it was more of like a fire burning instead of just a spark of a can. It was more like I want to do this. I want to get better. I want to be able to make people laugh. I want to make help people heal and through laughter. Like this want came. And I was like, all right, here we go. So the next 3 or 4 years after that 2010 year, um, I started working and I started doing little shows here and there and going on little road trips here and there with Von Eaglebear and Mark Yaffe and doing little openers for Vaughn or J.R. Redwater, doing these things and building that confidence and gaining that experience in the material. And then all of a sudden in 2014, I said, I'm quitting my job because during that time I was going through panic attacks. I was having anxiety, slight depression, just not happy with my work. I wasn't enjoying doing the counseling stuff that I was doing. I was headbutting with all my supervisors because I don't like to be told what to do. And I almost felt like it was a dead end. Like I was just like, man, I am getting really unhappy. And I just said one day, I said, I'm done. I don't want to work anymore. I don't want to work for 8 to 5 no more. I just want to try to do the speaking and comedy full time. My lady said, she's like, I support you in that. I could see that you're unhappy. Let's do it. It was gonna be rough at first because my name wasn't really out there. And eventually, 2014, I just went full blown, and I've been doing it pretty much full time, off and on, not off and on, pretty much full time since 2014, and speaking and doing. And then I got picked up by Native Wellness Institute to speak on other like trauma and wellness and all that stuff. And then I do my own. I have my own kind of workshops that I've created, where I'm using my master's degree to create these talks or these motivational talks or these inspirational talks, in addition to obviously comedy. And that's kind of like how I got into comedy. And the reason why I think I got into comedy really quick is because I always watched it. It was almost like a part of me. I remember going in Gallup, New Mexico, and I remember rolling into we used to live in a trailer, and I remember seeing all my mom's friends, and they're sitting around the stereo, and they had a tape player. Some of y'all youngins out there, you guys probably don't know what tapes are, but you actually had to put a tape player in, and you had to wait for it to rewind. There was no back button. You had to rewind, fast forward, pause, play, whatever, and you had to flip the cassette. But anyways, there's this one tape. It was called Williams and Ree. I don't know if you ever heard that comedy duo. It was an Indian and a white guy, and but I remember seeing my mom and her friends watching these people, and or not watching, listening to them and laughing. And so that kind of sparked interest, thinking, that's cool. And then I used to always watch Def Comedy Jam when I was in Silver Spring, Maryland, religiously. When they all first got their starts, from Dave Chappelle to Martin Lawrence to Bernie Mac to just tons of legends anyways. Then I really started liking Richard Pryor, and then all these other comedians. And I used to watch the Comic Relief, I think it was called, with Whoopi Goldberg, Billy Crystal, uh, 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 Robin Williams. But I used to always watch that too. So it kind of was just always kind of in the back burner, like not knowing it, but it was just always there. And I never expected that I was gonna be doing what I was gonna do. It's not. I don't want to say it didn't really fall in my lap, but it was just kind of always there. It was like this little nugget, this little nugget that was just kind of, I held on to it subconsciously. And when the opportunity provided itself, I took that risk to see where it would go, and not knowing where it would go, to where I'm at today, making money off it, traveling, enjoying it, providing healing to our communities. I mean, it's beyond my belief, and I'm not even plateauing. I feel like I'm still making this incremental climb, to where I really want to be in life in terms of a comedian, actor, speaker, um, father, husband, brother, human being. You know what I mean? It's the journey is still kind of incrementally going up, and I'm enjoying the ride, but I'm also being weary and taking my time with a lot of the things because I'm 43. And some people feel like, oh my God, you better rush, you better hurry up because you don't got much time. And I'm like, you know what? I got all the time in the world, and I want to be able to enjoy this process of growth in my profession, in my spiritual life, in my real life, and just take gratitude for the things I'm able to do, because not a lot of people don't have the mindset or don't have that ability to do what I'm doing, or they have the ability to do anything, but the possibility, or the, what would you call it, the the want or the know-how, I guess you'd say, because I once was there. I
Mm.
didn't know how to get started. But yeah, and then here I am, doing what I'm doing now, and it's awesome. In short, that's kind of what it's about.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing, man. It's amazing how.
Well, you said eighth grade, and you
Yeah,
wrote down comedy, right?
uh,
And you kind of just forgot about it, but it found you.
yeah,
So did that teacher kept those letters and sent them out 10 years later? Is
yeah.
that what happened?
Exactly.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that's how it happened. I don't know if you could work something out with the US postal system and say, "Hey, 10 years,
Yeah.
send this batch out." Like I wouldn't trust the US postal system doing that. No.
Okay. Well, I thought I missed it. Well, I thought she sent them, and then I thought your aunt just kept it, But you said that your aunt called you and said, "Hey, you got a letter." So
Yeah, it
yeah, I
arrived in
guess
the
the teacher
mail.
kept the letters. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. The teacher kept them and like kept her word and saying she'd send them.
Yeah, it was
So
crazy to even like, and I use that still today. Whatever. Like if I'm doing workplace wellness, or if I'm doing motivational speaking, or if I'm working with troubled youth, or if I'm doing a comedy workshop or whatever it may be, I still use it. Like, what are you going to be in 1 year from now? Write a letter. Just write a letter, put it in your underwear drawer, and say open on this date next year. A 5 year letter. If you're willing to go 5 years from now, do that. And then if you guys are really wanting to do something, especially when I work with youth, I encourage you to right now to do a 10-year letter. And sometimes, if we have the time, we will sit down and we'll take that hour or that lunch break and we'll have kids write that 10-year letter. Now, how many of them carry through with it? I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I don't think I'd have the responsibility to hold on 10 years from now. You know what I mean? It would crush me if I lost those letters somehow, in traveling or in moving or some way, somehow. So
mhm.
I always kind of leave it up to them, or the group that I'm working with or the supervisors, like, or just individually, if they just want to do it themselves and say, open me up 10 years from now on this date, whatever. Kind of like a time capsule, really. Hey.
Yeah, yeah, it is. That's a good exercise too. I never thought of doing something like that. Um,
Yeah.
Even in
And I,
school, like
yeah.
write out 10 years from now, what do you think you'll be doing, or you have an idea? Because I did not know like what I even wanted to do when I was 18, 19. Like I just figured I'd live on the res forever and die there. That's what I thought. I mean, because I didn't have big expectations for myself. I didn't make the best grades. I kept getting hurt in sports, and it just felt like nothing was ever going my way. And all it took was just leaving the res and then finding a school with a bunch of other natives and learning about just myself, like finding myself, and then like I went to Institute of American Indian Arts. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
In New Mexico. So I went there, and you're there, you're young, like you're finding yourself, you're meeting new people, and it's scary. But it's really cool to see all those creatives where they're at now, like they're artists or
Hmm.
graphic designers or native business owners, and it's powerful to see that. And
Yeah.
so, when I moved back here to Oklahoma, I was like, I just was working like you, like I was just working 9 to 5 and hated it. And when the pandemic hit, that's when I started this, because it was like, I don't want to work. Like I was getting like you, like anxiety and panic attacks and
Hmm.
depression, and
Yeah.
that shit's real. Yeah, it's real. And so I wanted to start this, and finally I did, and it's helped so much. It's helped me. It's an outlet to talking and just finding other creatives out there that love what they're doing. And it is powerful, man. It's medicine to hear all these stories, like yours. And it's just it's amazing to hear, man. It's amazing to hear your story.
Yeah. And I think and it's amazing to hear where you're going through and what I guess almost, it's a chance, you don't know where it's going to go, especially with your podcast and stuff, and the exposure to share other people's stories, or even your own story. And to do that obviously is a risk or a chance to just say, hey man, I want to share what's going on with other people in life, what people that can relate to it, or people can draw something from it. And I think that's what more of us need to do in terms of helping each other, rather than talking bad about each other, or being jealous or hurtful towards each other. How can we help each other, and dissolving that trauma, or dissolving that hurt and that blame mentality, So I mean, big ups to you as well. You know, doing what you're doing as well.
Yeah. Well, I love what you said too about, everyone has the ability to do what they want. They just
Hmm.
have to want to do it.
Yes.
And it's so hard to invest in yourself because it is scary. It's scary to it's like you quit your job. I quit my job too, but you quit your job and you took a chance on yourself,
Hmm.
and that's what you have to do though. Like you have to give in fully into your dream and what you believe is right for yourself.
Yes.
And it's hard, man. It's hard to do. It's the first like 6 months to a year is like it's grind. Even after that, it's grinding. Like that's what
Hmm.
it is. And so that's what I want people to hear too is like you have the ability to do what you want, find what you love and do it.
Yes. And there's like, and I always work in different facets as well as like you were saying, like find what you want and do it. But there's also things that I always try to encourage people, even myself. Like I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect.
Mhm.
I'm nobody really. You know, essentially in the scheme of life and things, I'm still struggling like a lot of people. I'm still trying to make a life out of what I have and what the tools I have and the resources that I have. And there's no way that I'm perfect or that I know it all. All the things that I've
Mhm.
experienced are from all the things that I talk about, from my comedy to my speaking, is everything that I know about. So like let's say for my mom, I can't blame her or criticize her because she only knew what she knew in raising me. I only know what
Mhm.
I know in speaking to people, through my wellness training, through my training of life, through my learning of life. There's no by no means like think that I know everything. I'm a student of life. I'm always willing to learn, listen to other people's stories. I fail. But one thing I try to do is, you know what? It hurt. I banged my head. I skidded my knee in an analogy of life, and I could lay there and cry around and say life is over. I'm not gonna able to get up, or I can brush off, bandage myself up, and get up and continue to keep moving forward. And I think that's one thing that I feel like I got from my mom and just being an only child is this innate ability to not give up. To yeah, you're gonna as an only child, you're gonna mess up because you don't have anybody to learn from. You don't have a bigger brother. You don't have a dad. You don't have anybody to say, "Hey, this is the way you do it, son. This is the way you do it, bro. This is the way you do it." It was a lot of it just a trial and error stuff. And I'm 43, and I'm still failing. I'm still messing up. But what I'm trying to do is get better at all facets of my life, praying to emotional, mental, social, relationship to spiritual. And, so there's some days I want to give up. Some days I don't want to do comedy. Some days I don't want to speak because I really want to focus on myself. But at the same time, I think those work hand in hand. And I need to be able to draw strength from both to keep myself upright, to keep moving, to show people, to youth or to other people that might be looking towards me to say you can do a case. And I think that's a lot of that strength I draw from. Like you were saying, it's not sometimes it's not all about us. It's about the people that are listening to your podcast or listening to my comedy or listening to the other people that you brought in, those stories that kind of keep us like, you know what, I'm connecting with that person and what they said was like right on. So because I connected with a lot of people, indigenous and non-indigenous, that allow me to say, you know what, I got this. I messed up, but I'm gonna keep trying. I failed at comedy, but I'm gonna keep trying. I failed at being a father or being the not a perfect father, but at fatherhood. Like in terms of being what is right, I guess. From just messing up as a dad. You know what I mean? To
Mhm.
messing up as a husband or messing up as a son or messing up as just a human being, knowing that these failures are not defining me, but they're making me stronger to become a better person than I was yesterday. And that's kind of something I'm holding true to myself. The more I find find more about myself in the healing journey that I'm on. So It's really really cool, and I hope people that listen to this understand that, take that risk, even if it's just you going to go lift weights. Take that risk, even if it is for you to say sorry to someone that might have hurt you or you might have hurt them. Take a risk and pray. Whatever it is in your life, just take that risk and see it through to the bitter end. And if it doesn't serve a purpose for you anymore, then hey, it's okay. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay because there's many other opportunities out there that are gonna bring light to your life, I guess you'd say. And
Mhm.
but yeah, but good job on you for doing what you're doing in terms of finding something that whoa, I'm not happy here, and I need to do something different, and I need to find the happiness and some type of meaning to my life rather than just going through the recidivism or the just everyday kind of routine. I need something that kind of pumps me up and gets me going in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. It's well, like failure is just part of everything.
It is.
And it is, man. It's you mentioned earlier too, where, when you bombed, like, you could not do comedy after that because that's scary, dude. Like that's scary to
It is.
be no, like I don't have like like I'm trying to work on it. Like before, like okay, so with me, it's like I would always want a crutch. I would need somebody to rely on. I would need somebody there with me to take if I bombed, and at least I'm not bombing alone, and I needed somebody there. But now, I'm learning everything. I'm learning like you, like I'm a learner of life. I don't know anything. I just learned from the people I talk to and the things that I read. And if I'm wrong about stuff, then for sure, like correct me. Like I'm not in the thing of like where I'm right, I'm always right. Like, no, like if I'm wrong, like correct me for sure. Like, because that's what it's about. It's about
Yeah.
learning. But yeah, I needed a crutch, and I'm learning all this stuff, and I'm learning to rely on myself, rather than just with somebody or on somebody else. So,
Hmm.
and I like I said, I found some friends that are comedians too, and I'll let you know, man, it's hard to find y'all for some reason, to find native comedy comedians.
It is.
Like, it is. It's hard to find you all. Like I think Tatanka shared something of he did a show with you, and that's how I found you.
Oh
And
yeah,
so I
yeah,
was like, oh, that's cool, man. And and there's a flyer with comedians on there. So
yeah.
I've been trying to find comedians local and everywhere. So
Hmm.
that's where I found you. So that's when I reached out. I was like, hey, man, it'd be cool to have you on. And
Heck yeah, man. I'm always
so
down. I'm so thankful that kind of you seen me and you're like, okay, I'll get that guy. I'll get that Asian Mexican looking guy on my show.
Dang. Hey, well, what did you go to school for?
So I got my undergrad in health and human development, kind of centering around
Hmm.
family science.
Hmm.
And then I got my master's in mental health counseling.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of
Okay.
what I went into. And at first I was gonna go psychology, and then
Hmm.
something kind of just got me out of that, and I didn't really. It was too scientific or too bookish, like
Hmm.
too like in the book, like labeling. That's what it was. It's too labely. Like they just labeled everybody, and I didn't like I'm in my mind like as we're going through abnormal psychology, I'm like, well, what if I had all these questions. And they're like, well,
Hmm.
unfortunately, this is what the DSM, I think at that time was three. I think it was DSM-3, like the diagnosis manual. And according to this is exactly what I'm like. And they're like, well, there's not really any what ifs or buts. Kind of depends on the psychologist and if they want to use those what ifs and buts. But we as professionals, you have to go through by this book. And then I go, and I don't know how big of a I respect it. I just don't follow it, the Bible thing. And it's like, well, and the same thing is like it's in a book, but we don't really live that life anymore. So what ifs and buts. I have questions. I have concerns. So is it really by the book? Kind of things. You go
Hmm.
into the law, the books of the law, and the way the white men wrote the law. Like, but really, is it that way? Is it this way for only you guys, but not for minorities? Kind of like all that. So the book stuff is just for me going into psychology. I always had these kind of like it was just too rigid. Like it was just too like structured, for me. So that's why I went to the mental health route, and it was more flexible. It was more kind of things that I can work with and be malleable, kind of like it played with each person's characteristics and upbringing, and seeing them for who they were rather than diagnosing them. Right, I mean technically back then I could have probably diagnosed people, but I really try to
Mhm.
stay away from it until the bitter end, until I got to like, okay, is this really what your diagnosis is? Because we already went through everything, and you're still illustrating or displaying these certain, characteristics of what this label would be, But right away, I know a lot of psychologists or people, and I could be wrong too, but from my experience, I've seen people like after the first session, oh, they're schizophrenic, oh, they're bipolar, or oh, they're ADHD. I'm like, how do you know? After one or two sessions, oh, I've been in this profession long enough. I just know. I'm like, and so anyways, that's what kind of turned me off into psychology, and I really went strong into mental health and behavior health and drug and alcohol addiction and youth services, a lot of those, and so I did a lot of that. And honestly, I probably would have still been in that profession if I didn't have the rigidity or the such I don't know, plasticky feeling. I guess it wasn't rich, It was like you got to do the A, B, C, or D in order to get funded by like the state of Montana or by the feds. It was just a lot of paperwork. And if you didn't do it like this, then it was unprofessional, unethical in terms of how we wrote notes. You know what I mean? And then my
Mhm.
supervisors were also old school, and so I brought some kind of type of new school thinking, like the what ifs and the buts, and can we explore this a little bit? And same thing, headbutting with the supervisors. Think, they had their way, and their way was the only way. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm not. It's not my time to, be in this position right now. I gotta bounce. So, but some people don't believe that they have that option to bounce. They only see and they get stuck in that rut of like, this is my only option. This is the only thing I'm supposed to do and can do. Not realizing there are so many opportunities to make money, to be happy, to do what you want. You just have to go out there and explore. Like you said, you read, you listen to other people, you research, you take those chances. Like that's what more of us have to do to ultimately find happiness in all facets, from spiritual to physical to relationships to mental emotional stability. Like you just have to take those risks, and you have to be okay with the failures that are going to come with those risks, but knowing that you're going to be okay. You're going to make ground. You're going to become stronger from those failures and those risks. But you got to ultimately become the happiest you could possibly be. But no one's going to create that happiness but you.
Do you have a truck? Do you need accessories? Then look no further than Vance Truck Accessories. Vance Truck Accessories is owned by the man himself, Chris Vance. Chris has built his business from the ground up and is based in Oklahoma City. Chris makes it a point to push and install American-made products and will work hard to accommodate everyone. Vance Truck Accessories takes pride in supporting local veteran groups, local school groups, and other local businesses. Check out the Vance Truck Accessories Facebook page and check out the website www.vancetrucks.com for more info and to book your next appointment. And did I mention they do window tint on the weekends? Well, they do. So get on down to Vance Truck Accessories and let them know Russ from Okie Podcast sent you.
Mhm. Yeah. And now you're taking that risk into acting, correct?
Ah, yeah, I am. So
Yeah.
cool. And that's like another part. I'm not saying that after acting the letter is over. There's other things that
Mhm.
I'm ambitious about. Like I never honestly. So another ambition part is that yeah, I'm getting to acting too, but I'm also what I didn't think was coming my way, but maybe I thought it. Maybe I put it into the universe. Was
Mhm.
writing, So I'm also not only getting to acting, but I'm also into writing now, and I'm writing for a pilot show that ultimately, when we get done writing, we'll ultimately pitch it to a major network, And I don't know. Who knows? But that's a risk, right? You don't know. I've never
Mhm.
written a script before. I've never written for a show before. And I could have easily said, no, I don't want to. I've never done it. But in my mind, I'm like, man, this is a cool opportunity. Let's do it, you know? So, I mean, it's about the risks and the chances that you take in life that you're going to be excited about. And this might lead into me acting more because now I know how to write a script. Now I know how to read a script. You know what I mean? So maybe this is my training into becoming an actor, you know, or maybe they just work hand in hand. I don't know where this acting writing journey is taking me, but I am like, it is so exciting. It is so, so cool. And the big push of it is, you know, talking to my buddy Miggs, who writes for Reservation Dogs, you know, and Bobby Wilson, you know, the 1491 crew, you know, and seeing
Mhm.
them write their own scripts and their own plays and stuff, and seeing like, wow, man, they wrote for this video and they acted out the video. And that's why their videos that seem so clever and so well done is because it wasn't just like a TikTok video where you're just gonna do something really quick for 30 seconds. They took time, they wrote it out, and then they played it out. And so, anyways, seeing them do that, and then seeing the big push for the Reservation Dogs is just like really from breaking even more. I mean, obviously, Reservation Dogs is breaking barriers. You know,
Mhm.
in addition to all the other previous films, Smoke Signals. You know, everything Adam Beach did, Tonka Means did. You know, Martin Sensmeyer did. You know, I mean, we could keep going on and on from other previous actors, but there's a different feeling, or there's a different wave that's kind of coming, and it's full of like indigenous native actors that are like, we've been waiting, and we're ready. You know what I mean? And I think the country is ready too for what we're about to bring. Not the country,
Yeah,
the world.
the world. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's great though, man. Like you're just diving headfirst into writing and acting, and that's how it is for me too now. Like
Yes.
I did like sports commentary, right? And I'd never done that before. And my friend was just like, "Hey, man, like you should commentate." And I was like, "Bro, like I played football, but I don't talk about it. Like I wouldn't even know what to say. I was afraid, and I was like, you know what? I'll do it.
Heck
Like
yeah.
I'll learn from it. Like I'll learn how to do it as the season goes on." So, and I did, man. I took that chance and I did it. So it
That's
was a fun
cool.
experience, dude. It was a
Oh, I
fun
bet.
experience. You got to see a team grow, and it's from my hometown,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
it was just like it was amazing. Like I was like, I'm so glad I said yes.
Yeah.
And then there's like other projects I'm doing too where I'm just like, yeah, like let's do it. Let's work. Let's build it up. So
Yeah.
like the worst that can happen is it just bombs and you try again. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You move direction, you try again. And that's exactly what those writers said, like if we're writing and it doesn't seem so well, then we can just say, okay, we'll X that and we'll rewrite something that will work. Like,
Hmm.
and it's not like the whole freaking show is over. You just rewrite until something works, and then you go with it. Like, and to me, in my mind, being a new writer, I'm like, oh, this might not work, or this. And then that one guy was just like saying, we want to hear. We want. So how they found me for the writers group is they seen a comedy clip of me on YouTube, and they loved my humor, so they reached out to me and they said, "Would you like to be part of this writers group?" And I was like, "Yeah." Anyways, and anyways, as writing,
Hmm.
I voiced concern. I texted this one guy personally, and I said, my concerns are this A, B, and C. He's like, dude, don't worry about it. He said, just write. You bring your creativity to it, and just write. Don't worry about format, structure. Don't worry about any of that. Just write. And sure enough, the things that I wrote on the first act that we're doing right now, they really liked. They really liked the angles that I came from. They really liked the comedic scenes that I created. So I mean, and I'm telling you, like some of these guys have rich history in other shows, like really popular shows,
Hmm.
And I just don't know if I'm able to tell everything right now, so I'm trying to keep it as vague as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they have like really like shows that you've heard of and shows that you probably have watched before, And I'm just like, hearing the feedback from those guys about my writing and my angles of comedy. They're like, man, that was right on, or the stuff that you wrote in is hilarious, or whatever it may be. And I'm like, holy cow, this is pretty cool. It's confidence building, but I don't take it and like, oh no, I'm the best writer here. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's more like, um, it's more like just like, man, thank you so much, but it makes you hungry. It makes you like, okay, I'm doing something right. Let's keep her going.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
We will see. And has there been any have you been in any like acting gigs? Have you been in anything I could watch or
No, not yet.
not yet?
Like I said, I just now started getting to it. I never really. There's some things that I still need to kind of get a hold of. I mean, I have people in the friends that are in the acting industry, and they want me to get things going.
Mhm.
Um, and they want me to find do like three different like sample videos of me, drama one, comedic one, and one like that, not drama, but action, kind of like an action one, like if
Mhm.
I was in an action film or something.
Mhm.
And so that they can pitch those videos to the producers or the casting agents or whatever.
Mhm.
And so I still haven't found an agent yet. I'm still kind of just doing everything on my own, sending videos, sending, acting resumes to different people. I was in like a small little film here in Seattle, and it had
Mhm.
to do with like green space, like in terms of like the city's full of concrete, but how important is green space in the city? And so I did like a little part in that, and I mean, they said I did great. So I mean, obviously they kept my lines, so that's good. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so nothing really yet. But in my mind, like it's just intuition. It's a feeling. I do feel like these roles that are meant for me are coming down the line, and as I continue to work on my acting and study it, uh, I'm confident I will be ready to bring whatever I need to bring to the acting industry as an indigenous native person from Fort Belknap, Montana. So we'll
Mhm.
see. You never know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's gonna happen, dude. You just gotta like I do now, man. I speak things in existence
Yes.
and I'm a firm believer in that. And
Mm-hmm.
because before I had this conversation with somebody where, it's so easy to just doubt yourself. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like I can't do that. It's so easy to do that. And you say it out loud. Rather like now, like I'm like, I'm gonna do that. Like I
Yeah.
can do that, and
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
it's so weird at first when you're doing it because I've never done that before. I've never said I'm able to do this or I can do this. Like it was always like, no, man, I can't do that. So, like it's just a change of mind now. Like I'm just super positive now. Like I'm not no negativity here or anything. So
That's awesome, man. Keep it up, man.
you too, man. Like
Yeah.
you too. And we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Um, so thank you for coming on, Kasey. I really
Yeah.
do appreciate it. You're
This is
welcome back
awesome.
anytime.
Yeah, let me
If you
know.
want to,
Let's do it. Let's go into even more depth about something. This is awesome.
yeah, dude. Yeah, I'd love that. And yeah, just hit me up or I'll hit you up. And once you have some stuff coming up, like we can come on and just promote it too. I'm
Yeah,
more
that'd
than
be
happy to do that.
yeah, let's do it, man. I'm so excited about it, and let's keep supporting each other and keep lighting the fire under each other's behinds to keep us all going, in the same direction. Unity is so important in all facets of our indigenous lives, I guess, in our circle, from water rights to land rights to acting to speaking to media to entertainment, like you name it, to government. Like let's just all unify and let's continue to work together to show the world again what we're made of, and we're always meant to be here to have our word heard and
Mhm.
to hear our voices. And yeah, let's just keep going. We got this.
Yeah, we got this.
Yep.
One last question. Where'd you get your hat?
That is from my buddy. He's a promoter. He wanted to print some hats out. So
Hmm.
he asked his buddy in California to print a bunch of hats, and we sold them here in Washington for a big event that we did here. And so, but I like if anybody's interested, I mean, obviously just hit me up and I can totally get them print more and ship them out to you as well. So, Merchandise will be coming up on www.resolicious.com. Working on my store. It should be ready hopefully by the end of the month, if not sooner. And you can find all my social media on there. However, I might be changing my social media just because I got a bunch of junk on there. Like people say they follow you, but they don't follow you. So there's just a bunch of stuff that's on there that I don't really need. So I might end up revamping my Snapchat, my Facebook, both my comedy page and my personal page, just to give a heads up to everybody that might be listening. So I might be revamping a lot of that stuff and just starting over and bringing more substance or more, what do they call, continuity to my pages.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll be on the lookout for that. And yeah, if you ever come through again, let me know, and I'll come through to your show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'll let you know too, and try to post everything I can on my Crazy Kasey comedy on my Facebook page. But like I said, that might end up going down too, and I'm just gonna restart everything. So.
Well, let me know when you do that.
Okay, I will.
Because the way Facebook does stuff, like it shows me things that are super late for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get the updates all the time either. I'm like, it shows like 2D, ago, and I'm like, what? 2 days ago? Why are you showing me then? Like, I don't know.
So it's stupid. It's stupid, but Facebook, please fix that.
Yeah. Seriously, come on, Mark.
So everybody go follow Kasey, keep up with him. Check out his website.
Yeah, Instagram would probably be the consistent one.
And yeah, that's where I know. Where did I hit you up at? Oh no, it's Facebook.
But yeah.
Instagram, I got you on Instagram too. So everybody go follow him, keep up with him, check out his website. Be on the lookout for when he changes everything. You don't want to miss out on that.
Yes.
And this man is on the move. He's on a mission, and he will be back. We got a lot more to talk about, but yeah. So thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for coming on, making time. And if you're not following Okie Podcast, please do that. It's on Spotify, Apple, wherever. I would say Google it or Google my name, and it'll come up. Facebook is Russell Sun Eagle, my personal. Okie Podcast is on Facebook as well. Instagram is Okie Podcast, one word. Russellmus49 is my personal. And check out the website, www.okiepodcast.com. So until next time, everybody. Peace.
See ya.
As most of you have seen, myself and Native Threads have created a special partnership. So huge shout out to Native Threads Clothing. They have a drop coming on February 12th. It's going to be the Native Legends Collection. So please go follow Native Threads Apparel on Instagram at Native Threads Apparel, and also on Facebook, Native Threads Apparel. And also check out the website, nativethreads.com. So thank you, Native Threads, for believing in me. So happy we get to work together, and I can't wait for what's next.